no flex. Flex, the livest one in the section. Fit the runner, boy, you nigga, no question. You would run a motherfucker high stepping. Hey, you never had a big enough weapon. Motherfucker never learned your lesson. I'm a 88 pack nigga. I'm a 88 pack nigga. I mean, day walker, drink blood, fangs out, full moon, motherfucker change like a hoe. I'm just a nigga from the hood trying to stack a little cheddar for the money.
Yeah, buddy. You already know what it is. Drew Titan, Bronx on deck. Shout out to the mighty LDBC. Let's do this roll call. Hope everybody is safe. If you're at work, hope you're safe. They help you get you through your evening. After Stormy got you through your morning. I'm in New York. The sky done fell. So, you know, but I'm in the crib, so we good, man. So let's do this roll call because there's a lot of things I want to cover this evening. Welcome down, Van Howard. Salute to you. What's going on? Mac of the South, Mr. Tiptoe, Columbia, Rod Neal in the building, Michael Fleming, Bionic Prince, 88 Sports Talk, One Deep, Trill Will, Universal Truth, Bernard Gilbert, Derek Gaines, the legend, 4-Ounce Sniper. Salute. Come on in, smash the like button. Share the video, share the video, share the video. We are our own algorithm. Let's not leave it up to Miguel or his boyfriend spooning in California to do anything for us. We got this. Don't worry about it. Follow all of us on Patreon. Follow all of us on Rumble. Follow all of us on Rumble. Follow all of us on Rumble. When I say that, I do that for a reason because there's a lot more freedom over there. As a matter of fact, there's some things I'll be putting up on Rumble that I absolutely am not putting up here. Dion, what's going on, man? So, let's get to this work. First of all, I want to touch on what we had going on last night with the Cruz and Mortala fight last night. I did my post fight. I said what I said. Earn Jordan, salute. Gerald Kelly, salute. House rules. When you respond to me, well, actually, you know, if you respond, well, I don't ask anybody questions other than what your thoughts are. You can give me your thoughts, but refrain from disrespecting me. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, if you're playing, you're playing. If I don't know you like that, I don't know if you're playing. I'm going to respond to you how I respond to you. Might not block you right away. But I don't care if you're a Haney fan or a fan that I support, of a fighter that I support or whatever. Don't violate me. Don't call me any names because, you know, I'm going to say what I'm going to say. I'm going to leave it up for a couple of days. And if your response is typical, I won't block you. All right. So those are just some house rules, man. Be respectful when you respond to me, especially if I don't know you. I don't know if you're joking or not or whatever. Shelton, salute. Yeah, they don't. Shelton, on my phone, on your shorts, they don't let me comment on your videos. I meant to tell you that. They never do. I can comment on Blues. I can comment on 78s. I can comment on Stormies. I can't comment on yours. On the phone, I got to do it on desktop. That's weird. Jamal, what up? Sam Max, salute. So I want to briefly discuss last night. I'm going to reiterate my point. I'm going to be very clear. It was a good fight. I enjoyed it. That was boxing. Ray Mortala not only had tools, but he had the recipe. What is a recipe? A recipe means, okay, I got this talent, but Tay, good evening. I got this talent, but if you don't have the right recipe to mix things up in the ring, it can actually be a recipe for disaster for you. I said at my post fight that fight was pretty much lost by the corners. Robert Garcia outcoached Boozy. That's what I said. I didn't harp on it. I talked about what I saw in the fight. I didn't even harp on the judges because 2 of the terrific 3 was there. Weisfeld and Cheatham. And I didn't realize that until someone in the comment section told me. And I said, because I watch things on mute and I do that on purpose. I said, oh, man. And I think one of those clowns was the ones with the 118, 110. But never mind that for now. I said that fight was won by corner work. Mortala had all the tools. But listen to what I'm about to say because a lot of y'all won't register. Mortala has tools. Cruz was the better boxer, which is why he was slightly favored. But what was the problem? Everyone keeps saying, "Oh, well, he still fights in a Olympic style way." But he's also from the Cuban school. But for a guy with that least amount of professional fights, you can tell he's been mixing it up forever. So the talent was there. The instruction was not. The instruction. And I didn't harp on it last night. The instruction. Ladies and gentlemen, Boozy got out coached. I'm not saying, and listen, y'all, I don't care what y'all say. I'm going to say what you're going to say. I'm not crapping on Boozy. I'm not saying he's trash. I'm not saying that. But I'm going to remind y'all of something.
That's my job.
Okay. I'm going to remind y'all of something. I'm going to give it to Stormy. I'm going to remind y'all of something. Y'all remember the second Karen fight? Do y'all remember myself? I think the general, Stormy, especially Stormy. Y'all remember the instruction that Boozy gave Boots? When I unmuted my TV and I'm like, yo, Karen is not fighting like the Karen that he first fought. This is a different guy. Where was the adjustments? And I unmuted the TV to listen to what Boozy was saying. What did he say? Figure it out. Go in there and hit him. I was like, what? Wait a minute. What? I said, what is going on here? That was the instruction. And Boots legitimately, in my opinion, was in there figuring things out. But at the same time, he got hit a little more often than he is used to. And we critiqued him. Although he won, we critiqued him. He was like, hey, man, you supposed to adjust and smoke this guy. But I said, why is no one talking about the corner work? Robert Garcia, I know we've had problems, with things that he said or done in the past, whatever. He's a professional. He's probably one of the best coaches in the game. He's better than Eddie Reynoso. He's better than a lot of coaches. He knows what he's doing. Ray Murtala, and listen carefully, because a lot of y'all can be like, well, if he's a better boxer. Ray Murtala is not as good of a boxer than Andy Cruz was. Andy Cruz didn't have the recipe. Murtala had the best mind, one of the best minds in his corner, and he told them what to do. Not all the pure boxers win every fight. Y'all know this to be true. Y'all know that. Boozy was outthought in that fight. Now, I didn't get into detail, but I'm giving you a little bit this evening. Stormy, I'm gonna let you take it from here.
Yeah, salute, man. And salute to the chat. Hope you guys are staying about as warm as possible. I know there's power out across the Midwest. I talked about that this morning. And I just want to continue to extend prayers and blessings to anyone out there that's going through. This is a trying time, but we will get through it with this weather that seems to be an oddity. But yeah, regarding last night's fight, there are several points there. And one of the ones that I like to just start off, you said that Ray Murtala has tools. I disagree.
Okay.
Ray Murtala is a guy that is not very confident. He's also a guy that has a knack for handling the sport from a physical standpoint. He's athletically gifted and he has pop on his punches. He's not a one-punch knockout fighter, but he has enough power that he carries at that weight that makes him, he puts you on alert. From my understanding, he actually moved down from 140 to compete at 135. Genius move, because there are guys at 140 right now that will smoke him like a pack of cigarettes. But anyway, not to digress. He had trouble against Tevin Farmer, a veteran boxer who can't box with Andy Cruz. He's the divide between the two talents is enormous. If you remember and you go back to that fight, the Garcia corner were prodding him and riding him like a jockey to do more against Farmer so that he could get the victory. He was able to pull that fight out, but I had Farmer winning that fight. Now, as we talk about last night's matchup, they had a good game plan, which was to just stay on top of Cruz because they understood that they brought the physicality, but they did not bring the boxing ability, and it still showed. See, that's why I disagree with saying that, because the best way to take away a fighter's best assets is to either do what is on the opposite side of it or to not give them an opportunity to present it. In last night's matchup, we know that Andy Cruz has a tremendous amateur background, since they like to talk about the backgrounds of guys like Usyk and Madrimov and Lomachenko. Let's talk about Andy Cruz's background in the Olympics and as an amateur. The fights that he won, he even beat Keyshawn Davis, which was a great thing. But turning pro and being able to fight for a world title in your 7th professional fight, and even go a 12-round distance, it shows that this man is really the goods. The only setback or drawback is he didn't have an elevated corner to pull him through in the championship opportunity. Now, Garcia knew this, so their objective was to stay on top of him and apply the pressure, because the best way to sway judges in Vegas, remember that, is to give the impression you're doing something even when you're not.
Right.
And Mortaya's best way to do that is to be the aggressor going forward. Push the fight, push the fight, push the fight. Even if you're not throwing the punches, you're giving the impression, I'm putting him on the back foot. I'm making him move away. I'm making him try to get out of the space or whatever. However, Cruz's jab was the antidote. And Bozy, I'm trying to be measured in my words when I say this, he didn't have the wherewithal to tell his fighter to continue to do what he was doing best.
Right.
Now, the announcers had spoken during the first round. They had said that leading into the fight, Bozy told them that they had several game plans for the fight and that they needed to see what Mortaya would show during the first round or early in the fight, and they would make an adjustment to that to do what they had game planned for. I spoke in my post-fight show last night. I said that at no point during the fight did we see Cruz make an adjustment, but we did see him do some things that were very, very good. But he didn't stick with that. And then there was a point later in the fight where Bozy told him, you got to back him up. Well, you can't match physicalities if you are the least physical. Anybody that understands martial arts should understand that. Tai Chi is a martial art where you can take an opponent's momentum and shift it and redirect it and things like that. Steven Seagal's martial art, what is that? The Aikido?
Keto.
is a similar thing where you could take one's momentum and carry them through where you could ward them off and things like that. But this is boxing. So if you watched last night's fight, the number one thing that Andy Cruz was able to do that Murataya couldn't get out of the way of was his jab. It was a very sharp punch. When he doubled it, it made Murataya go backwards.
Mm-hmm.
And then when he tried to bring the right hand behind it, he was looping the right hand instead of throwing it straight from the shoulder. You see, this is something that switching from amateur to pro,
right,
that Bozy is supposed to be able to teach.
That's
if
right.
He's a good trainer.
That's right.
You heard me speak about Deontay Wilder being a very good puncher and strong puncher, we know, with the so-called right hand. But I've also mentioned that he's a country man, meaning old country boy, cock-strong country boy, wiry and strong.
Mm.
The left has always been underdeveloped and underused because the left is your lead. If you perfect that, there is no escape for the opponent who's waiting for the well-known vaunted right hand. But to add to it all is to teach him to throw the short shots. Cruz is a fighter that he hasn't added the mid-range short shot game to his boxing. If he does that, he becomes a very formidable fighter. You don't have to have the knockout punch. Pernell Whitaker beat a wealth of guys who were bigger, stronger, and more physical than him.
Right.
Do we remember the Diabetes Hurtado fight with Sweet Pea Whitaker?
You're going back too far for these youngsters, brother.
See, this is what we're talking about here. So what Cruz was able to do well was exercise the jab. Now, any coach out there will tell you that's the number one punch in boxing. Why didn't he tell that young man to ride the waves of that fight going into the championship rounds? He could have given him this simple instruction. Rounds 11 and 12. I need 45 jabs out of you in this round. I don't care if you're hitting them in the top of the forehead, at the base of the chin, in the chest, the pit of the stomach. Mix it up. I need those jabs. You can win this fight with one hand. He didn't tell him that.
He probably told him, go get him.
Yeah, he did. And that is the type of thing that many people do not understand how it works. Murataya was never close to him when he was pumping the jab. Never. He was from mid-range to outside. He'd take a step back even because the jab was sharp. He talked about Cruz never hurting him. Well, that's the machismo in him, right? But you saw his face.
Yeah. It's a totally different story.
See, that happens from sharp punching. Larry Holmes used to do it to people all the time. He was never a noted puncher, was he? But he beat the shit out of people, and he won fights off of just being the man who was committed to what he was doing. He wore guys down. Because Murataya is not the strongest mentally guy in there and not the most confident, Bozy was supposed to be able to pick up on that, but he wasn't. You see, these are the keys of things that I'm talking about. If you think that I'm lying, go back and watch previous fights of Murataya. I'm telling you, I don't get paid the big bucks, but it's a shame that I have to come on and say the things that I'm saying. And for people that are uneducated may look at me and say, well, Stormy B, man, what the hell did he know? I know a lot. But the thing about it is to be able to understand how to take someone's strengths and optimize them especially under duress.
Mhm.
You have to make a guy's worst nightmare become the reality in a boxing match. There was nothing about Morataya that Cruz was afraid of. If you notice,
Yeah.
going into this fight, he was showing a lot of confidence. You know why? Because he knows he can box. But in the 11th hour, in the time and crucial moment, he wasn't reminded to do the best that he does.
That's right.
That's the difference. That's the difference. And Garcia is probably wiping his brow. Woo! We got away with that one. I had the fight scored a draw. A draw. Now the draw goes to who? The man with the title. Mm-hmm. So he would have retained it even off of my scorecards because he didn't do enough to take the title away from the champion. But if he was tagging him every single round with that jab and outboxing him and just sticking and pulling a Larry Holmes-like performance, just like Larry Holmes did against Ken Norton, he could not match Ken Norton's power and strength and physicality. So he had to outbox him back in 1978 when he won the title from Ken Norton and became the heavyweight champion of the world. Muhammad Ali couldn't even get past Ken Norton.
People don't know that. Well, they don't.
Ken Norton was Muhammad Ali's kryptonite.
Ali couldn't do nothing with Norton.
But Larry Holmes took Ken Norton to school.
And what did George Foreman do with Ken Norton?
Bicep at that in his right arm.
And what did George Foreman do with Ken Norton when they got in there?
He bludgeoned him to death like a guy robbing you in a dark alley when you just got paid. Yeah. Because
Norton didn't have the proper boxing ability that Ali or Holmes had.
Yeah.
You see how that works? Y'all don't know boxing like y'all think, man. Come on, man.
See, but at the end of the day, it would be great for Cruz to learn these subtle nuances that I've spoken of, but be reminded that the way that he'll win a world title is to box his way to one, not to outfight somebody for one. And there's nothing wrong with outboxing someone. There's a thing that is going through the sport of boxing right now, particularly against the fighters that are melanated. They don't want you to box. Because if you do that, and you do that very well, others don't have a chance. Because they can't outmatch your athleticism. They can't outmatch the rhythm and perpetual motion that you bring. Sometimes the strength and power that can be God-born. So if you have the skill set too, nobody stands a chance. So that's why they tell you, I hope he doesn't pull a Tom and Jerry. I hope that he doesn't run all night. I hope he doesn't do it. They don't want that because you raise the stakes, the levels of competitiveness to a place that some people just can't get to naturally. Thus you have PED users. Huh? Yeah. Doesn't it come full circle when you look at it like that? Of course it does. So, in my closing remark about this, Morataya gained off of Bozy dropping the baton. He fumbled. You remember that coach in the Super Bowl that called that pass play when they should have just ran the ball in a few years ago? And the pass got intercepted, and the game was over just like that. You got one of the best running backs in the NFL. You give him the ball when the money is on the line, right? You decide to get creative, and you blow it just like that. You see, sometimes you have to dance with who brought you. That's an old saying too. for some of you young people out there. You dance with who brought you, huh? But those are my sentiments on that, bro.
Thanks for that. We just want to touch on that. I see everybody in the chat: Jamal, Doug Riv, Joe Townsend, Trey Titan, Rachel. I saw you. Lost Sweat Real Baltimore in the building. Salute to y'all. So let's get to this. Adrian, salute. Let's get to this. Zuffa Boxing. Zuffa Boxing. I rock. Salute. Zuffa Boxing. Y'all in trouble. And said, what up? And I don't care. Y'all are in trouble. And I don't care. I'm going to say it one more time so y'all understand where I'm coming from. Y'all in trouble. And I don't care. Gone are the days are where the fighter that you slurp is living off the fat of the land, where they are the A side and they have the luxury of a suspect fan base, and they can posture and pick and choose who they want to rumble with, and whatever they decide to do, you unconditionally rock with it because you're on top of the world and you don't care who he fights as long as he looks good doing it. Those days are gone. Those days are gone. And y'all are hoping that Turkey Al Sheikh wouldn't be successful. Look, all I saw, and I'm not saying Turkey's perfect, all I saw was him putting on these events, and I'm seeing fights happen that you would never, that y'all don't understand. That event, Matchroom versus Queensberry, I want you to understand that an event would never happen like that. You know what that was like? That event would have been like Top Rank versus King's Promotion back in the 80s. That just wouldn't happen. And y'all youngsters, y'all don't even know what I'm talking about. That just would not happen. But enter Turkey Al Sheikh, he made it happen. Those dudes say, well, there's money here? All right, get your guys, I'm going to get my guys, and we're going to work. And that's where we at with this. So now, I kept telling you that you guys, positioning, like jockeying for position. I just want my guy at the top, and he ain't got to fight for belts until I want him to fight for belts, and he ain't got to do this until I want him to do this, and he's the A side, and nobody could tell him what to do. Those days are over. Zuffa put together a pretty good event. I like the production. But the news is this here. So I'm online and I'm looking and I'm like, wait a minute, what? They just picked up Bam Rodriguez, Jao Patai, and Alexander Usyk. And then I saw a Blues video. They might pick up Errol and somebody else. Wait a minute. We just got done telling you that Errol ain't fight because the PBC can't afford to pay him. Now, if this is true, y'all in trouble. Because unless your favorite fighter's down with the program, unless he's scared to lose his O, or not even lose his O because your fighter's the king of the world, right? I just want your favorite fighter to compete. And y'all know who I'm talking about. Unless he gets with the program, he could stay over on the PBC if they're still in business. He could stay with Top Rank if they're still in business. I heard Top Rank's next event is going to be on Tubi. What the fuck? What the fuck? Bro, Top Rank's putting their next event on Tubi. You're done. You're done. But I love it. Muhammad Ali Act. Well, name a casual that showed concern about the Muhammad Ali Act while rooting for anything that Oscar De La Hoya did. You see, his time's up. He tried to get online and talk about, I'm going to expose all of you boxing promoters, and I'm getting with Al Heyman, and we're going to, man, shut up. After you said that, you tried to stop Ortiz versus Boots in that same sentence. And everybody say, oh, we was riding with you, Oscar, because we're anti whatever the majority likes. Meaning, if Turkey is gonna make your guy fight his contemporary, you don't want that. As soon as he said Ortiz could fight this guy and that guy, he could fight the Towering Inferno, and he could fight Errol in Texas. And I think Errol said, yo, stop playing on my name. Leave me out of this. I think he said that. I'm not sure. But as soon as he said that, everyone said, wait a minute, wait. The way you get our attention is saying, I'm helping Ortiz smash the gas on Boots. We're giving that fight next. You don't talk about positioning Ortiz to make all this money with fights that you feel he could win without fighting his main contemporary. The old way of doing things is gone. Y'all already made it very clear. Y'all don't care about no Muhammad Ali act. So my thing is this. Let it go. Let it go. I told y'all, all of this is your fault. This with Zuffa and Turkey Al-Sheikh is a direct result of y'all justifying the best not fighting the best. This is your fault. I've given this a lot of thought, but F y'all. And I want you to cry about it because your argument is ridiculous. For you not to conform to what's going on, you're really saying that you don't want your favorite guy or girl to fight their contemporaries while getting paid top dollar to do so. You're saying that you don't want your guy or girl to be one face, one name. And guess what? Y'all undermined all of those belts. There's 4 sanctioning bodies, and they have been in cahoots with some of these promotional companies. And I told y'all last year, boxing needs to burn, so burn it. I don't care. Because y'all never cared. Well, I was talking about, hey, man, we need to make the fights before somebody comes in. DAZN was the warning shot. You remember when DAZN gave Eddie about $1 billion? And the first thing people did was, when I was on Facebook, they laughed at me. Oh, he's going to come and buy up all the PBC fighters. And all I said was, what is y'all obsession with PBC fighters? Oh, because Al Heyman's black. And everybody respects Al Heyman. He only been in the business a short amount of time, and he got TV deals and everything. And watch them bounce stab him, and they're gonna go with Eddie hand with hand. Remember they were saying that? He came in and he tried to highlight Adrian Broner. He told him what to eat between his legs, finger 11, and said, "Yeah, no, I'm loyal to Al." He went to Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury put out that note, and he said, "Man, nah, I'm not even dealing with you." He went to the Charlos. Charlos said no. So what did he do with that $1 billion? I don't know. I don't pocket watch. I don't know. Well, that's the end of that. DAZN's still around. But what did Eddie Hearn have to do? Conform. Matchroom is over there doing business with Eddie Hearn. I mean, doing business with Turkey Al-Sheikh. Queensbury's over there. What's Al waiting for? Because the PBC's done. The PBC's done. It's over with. Oh, I'm sorry. He's going to merge with Oscar De La Hoya and do what? What they going to do? Not a damn thing. By the way, has Bernard Hopkins said anything? Because he's Golden Boy East, right? Yo, it's over. Don't talk to me about no Muhammad Ali act. I tried. It's over. Zuffa had great production, and they signed these 3 guys right here. Jael Patai, Usyk, Bam, and they might get Errol. Fire Beast in that super chat. Salute to you, good brother. He says, it's crazy to think about it, but 15 years ago, if you said the only way to watch mainstream boxing is to get a bunch of apps, you would be laughed at. Yeah, you remember that? I used to brag about boxing still being the big dog on the block, man. UFC just ain't, they ain't got longevity enough. We got networks, ESPN, Fox, Rock Nation was on BET. Al Heyman had, we watched Sean Porter and Keith Thurman on CBS out here, Channel 2 in New York. I said, man, boxing's in a good place. Now look, you're going to have to watch the next fight on Top Rank on Tubi. Y'all did this. Y'all did this. So don't talk to me about no Turkey out of Sheik or Dana White. This is your fault. Shut up. Stormy, your thoughts?
The fact that Dana White has reached over into ESPN's pool and pulled out their announcers, used their production people, he's making the transition actually quite smooth. But there's going to be a significant difference in the fare that's presented. Primarily the matchups. And you're going to see the abolishment of the sanctioning bodies. That's going to go away. Suleiman in particular, I can't wait to see him in the trash. Listen, Christian and Billy, who for the past 3 years has been a WBC interim titleist.
3 years.
Fought a great fight with Lester Martinez on the undercard of Bud and Canelo back last September. The fight ended up being ruled a draw, and the WBC has mandated that they face each other again in a rematch. Christian and Billy, it is being reported by Ring Magazine, is now looking to possibly give up his WBC interim status. Could he be going to Zuffa? Hopefully, yes. Now check this out. Let's dial that back a moment. 3 years. Prior to Bud getting a shot against Canelo, who was Canelo fighting over those 3-year periods?
Oh. Whoever he wanted to.
Now, I was talking about him, Billy, before people came into the knowledge of him, wasn't I?
Yep.
So for 3 years, and let's be honest, it was 6 years for Benavidez. And Billy didn't get a shot. So they're going to enforce that he face Martinez again in a tough fight, that those two. But why are they not just elevating him to the WBC champion like they've done other fighters? Because remember, that's the title that they stripped from Bud when they were trying to rob Bud's pocketbook. You see the corruption here?
Yep.
If that were Canelo, they would instantaneously award him the belt. You're our champion. Isn't that what the interim status is supposed to mean? You see how the play is here? So they'll rather have someone fight for their title where they could continue to steal sanctioning fees off of the individuals and have another person in interim status. But you're not giving him his title shot, and you're not elevating him to the title to become the new title holder. It's a racket.
Yep.
Welcome to Zuffa Boxing. Welcome to Zuffa Boxing, because you're not going to see that. You're not going to be dealing with that. We might have 2 leagues, just like the NBA one time. They had
the ABA,
the regular NBA, and then what was the other one called?
ABA. ABA. Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. And eventually they merged. But the ABA, you had all these players over there. It was kind of like a league of the Globetrotters, huh?
Yeah.
With all types of flashy Dan, and the NBA was like the old John Havlicek and all of that.
Yeah.
Dr. J came from the ABA.
Yeah.
So when they merged the leagues, the league totally got stronger. The WBC, the sanctioning body lead head figure, Mauricio Suleiman, is doing everything in his power to bring about what we're experiencing because of his corrupt nature and his unruly ethic. But like I said, this man has come into here and he has watched the weaknesses. That's why the UFC and what they're doing over there on that side of what he's done is so successful. Because he took the element of the fight game, although that be mixed martial arts with what they do over there, and he took the strongest essence of the sport and put it on steroids, basically. And the people like, yeah, this is what they like, right?
Yep.
In the meantime, in regular boxing, these promoters and sanctioning bodies have corrupted so much that the people don't even want to tune in anymore.
Yep.
That the platforms where boxing thrives, free TV, HBO, Showtime, have pulled out of the sport. Now ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports, really? Because they're so greedy with what they want to do. They think that they want to fill their bag full of cash first and sell you wolf tickets. And like I said before, Suleiman, you look at him, that man is just everything that is wrong, like a boil on your rear end. It's irritant, it hurts, it is pussy, and all of that is nasty and disgusting. That's him. He's a boil on the sport of boxing.
Yeah.
And guess what? Here's your antibiotic.
That's right.
Zuffa Boxing. Because you're going to see things take a different... Yeah, it's going to be culture shock for some of you. Because a lot of you are young and come into this. This is the way it's always been for you.
It's been.
You come in, but it hasn't always been this way for us who are older.
We've been taken advantage of, Stormy. Let me digress on that for a moment. We come from an era where I came up watching Wild World of Sports, and Don King and Bob Arum will go head to head every Saturday. And I forget, was Don King on ABC? And
yeah,
okay, Don King
had a lot of his fights were on ABC and everything.
ABC, and Top Rank was on NBC, and that was every Saturday for me, free. And then Sugar Ray Leonard caught fire, and we had to get an HBO subscription back when there was one movie channel. And it was unique to us because you could be profane and it wouldn't bleep out the cuss words during the weigh-ins and stuff like that. But then we went from free TV to HBO by subscription to watch the latest, Tommy Hearns fight or
hold on. To add to what you're saying with that, we still had free TV boxing.
We did.
We still had it. We still had it there.
But if you wanted to see it, the main fight that was building up for a few months, you had to have HBO to watch it. Ladies and gentlemen, that was the pay-per-view. But then that became normalized, Boxing After Dark years later. But they went to the well again and said, you know what? If they want to watch this big fight, now we got to pay. Watch this, y'all. $20 for a pay-per-view. Did y'all know the pay-per-view used to be that cheap? $20. I've seen pay-per-views for as low as $15.99 or $14.99. And I said, oh, okay, all right, that's as bad as it's gonna get. Now fast forward to today. They want $80 for a fight that we didn't ask for. I remember when they went to the well. Y'all might not remember this. It was a pay-per-view. It was Bernard Hopkins versus that French dude, and and he was the co-main. The main event was Oscar De La Hoya versus Felix Sturm, which I think Sturm beat him. But that was supposed to line up the pay-per-view between Oscar and Bernard. And I said, they could have put this event on regular HBO. And then, I'll pay for Bernard versus Oscar. But what I'm saying is they went to the well too many times with us, but we've got accustomed to it. It became normalized. So you kids that were born in 1998 and you wasn't watching boxing with a critical eye until 2012, y'all already normal with this stuff. And we're telling you this is abnormal with these sanctioning bodies. And you got Floyd coming in and saying, all belts do is collect dust. Well, you know what? Welcome to Zuffa. Because those belts and sanctioning fees, you ain't got to have to pay that anymore. One thing I say about...
I'm glad you mentioned Floyd, because Floyd likes to boast that he's defeated more world champions than anybody and everything, right? But what people don't really realize, and I use the analogy of Moses Malone, who used to play in the NBA with the Houston Rockets, right? Moses was the NBA leading rebounder for most of his career. He averaged anywhere from 13 to 15 to 16 rebounds a game, Moses Malone. But one of the things that he did to pad his stats was when he was under the bucket, he would toss the ball off the glass and go get it and put it up there again and go get it. He would do it. Now, he would regularly grab about 10 rebounds a game. Right. But there was about 5 or 6 of them that would raise that number when he knew how to do this. So it goes over a lot of people's head, because it looked like, oh, he made a shot attempt, but he didn't make the shot. He gets his own rebound and stuff like that. He had a knack for where the ball would come off the rim and stuff, a lot like Dennis Rodman, because those guys were really invested in that kind of thing. Now, of course, Dennis, he was naturally gaining all of those boards, and that was his talent. But when we talk about this thing with Floyd, he'd win a title, then vacate it. The guy would pick the title up, the vacant title, then he'll fight him for it again, and then he'll win the title back. Instead of fighting the guy, defending the title, he would give the belt up. People were asleep to that. And so the WBC allowed it.
Yep.
And that's why he mostly carried the WBC belt, because we be crooks. That's what it stands for. That's why. And so many people coveted the WBC. Larry Holmes, when he defeated Ken Norton back in 1978, won the WBC title, the WBC version of the heavyweight title. And he defended that title. Now, this is where Kurt will have it. Kurt would know how many times he defended the title before he dropped it and went with the IBF.
Yeah.
The IBF was the new sanctioning body. The WBA was still around, but the WBA was doing some stuff over in South Africa that Larry Holmes wasn't down with. Remember apartheid?
Apartheid, pre-South Africa.
Remember that? Yep. And Jerry Coetzee, who was from South Africa, was a heavyweight over there who had titanium in his right hand because he had a severe hand injury. So he had basically a bionic hand. He was knocking people out and stuff, but they were downplaying that. They was like, oh, that's not why he's knocking people out. Jerry Coetzee was knocking people out because he had a titanium hand, man. Anyway, Larry Holmes was like, screw y'all, I'm going over here with the newly established IBF. And he legitimized the IBF.
Yeah.
So he got away from those crooks with the WBC. They've always been crooks, going back to Jose Suleiman, the daddy of Mauricio. Okay? But Mauricio is worse than his dad. Believe it or not. He truly is. If Jose knew what his son was doing,
he'd be proud.
He'd be flipping over in his grave like a turnstile in a train station during rush hour.
Let me ask you a question. Floyd Mayweather Jr. has convinced this current era of fanatics that belts don't do nothing, belts collect dust. You know, he had fanatics saying that, he had Tank fans saying that, they believe that crap. But when you ask Floyd why is his resume so special, he'll insist that he beat more world champions than any fighter in the history of the sport. And that's true. And if belts collect dust, look at that. Those belts collecting dust, or is this a part of his legacy? You ask him, what have you done special? That's in his house. You understand? This is just as stupid. And stupid is as stupid does. When Mellow Yellow got mad at Jay Leon Love during the Jake Paul conference, and he said, I don't know what this animosity towards me, Tank. You and I have been cool. He said, yeah, you went from training world-class fighters to training the YouTube. Stay over there. What? He's training the YouTuber that you're about to fight?
What?
Wow. Wow. This is the ideology. This is who he's raised. So when Floyd Mayweather talks about belts collecting dust, I mean, what? These are collecting dust? He took these belts out to take pictures. He got rid of those belts, which is why we never got Paul Williams versus him, which is why we ain't never got Keith Thurman versus him. Now, I don't want to cut Floyd's career down, but there's a lot of things I could poke holes into. The dude is ridiculous. And stop listening to him, because look at where it gets you. And welcome to the Zuffa era. I'm going to support it. Y'all don't care about no Muhammad Ali act. I tried to warn y'all. I tried to say, hey, man, the best got to fight the best. Because if boxing was doing what it was supposed to, there'd be nothing for Turki Al-Sheikh to do but offer more money to do what they've already been doing. But with the sanctioning bodies, working with these promotional companies, listen, if there was no Turki Al-Sheikh, y'all wouldn't have cared if Teofimo Lopez was the villain. Drew, what are you talking about? 2018, listen to this. 2018, this is Teofimo Lopez.
Hey, Devin Haney made a comment, trying to make whatever it is. But at the end of the day, Devin, you don't know. The WBC is not going to have you, even if you do the competition, they're not going to have you fight for the title. You can get mad at everything. I'm fighting for the title after this fight, for the IBF. And then after that, me and Loma for all four. And where are you? You're not going to get a shot, bro. And you don't know that, but we do. And that's what we did. I'm not going to fight more fights. So it is what it is, man. Talk what you got to talk, my dude. But at the end of the day, you're not becoming a world champion at 135.
You don't know that, but we do. That's what he said. You don't know that, but we do. Who's we? He was a top-ranked fighter, and he was working with the WBC. He just told you that the WBO and the WBC was in cahoots to freeze Devin out. But you want to talk to me about Turki Al-Sheikh? Shut up. You don't deserve to say anything. Because the reality is, if boxing was organic, like how it's supposed to be, chances are your favorite fighter wouldn't got his ass kicked anyway. And what's going on here is that it's going to be sink or swim. It's okay. It's okay to have a favorite fighter. But when you don't check, when you do proper research and you understand this quote-unquote game of boxing, you'll be perfectly fine. But when you don't check the bullshit at the door, you know what you get? Well, you know what? I could show you better than I could tell you. This is
told you Floyd Mayweather really wasn't undefeated. 2007, Madison Square Garden. Floyd Mayweather was ruled knocked out by Sergio Martinez.
Y'all Y'all see this?
Round 2. Jerry, why haven't I heard about this? Why am I just seeing this? Why does it say he's undefeated on BoxRec? They later tainted Sergio Martinez's supplements to make it seem like he was on that stuff to beat Floyd, and this fight inevitably or essentially got erased from boxing history. But this was all a ploy by Floyd and his team to keep his undefeated record alive. Really, Floyd pulled a Haney. He took down all film, all footage of this fight.
Floyd pulled a Haney.
Because he felt like he was cheated out of this fight. He felt like this should have been a no contest or a victory for himself. And I give it to Floyd. This stain on his career has been covered up and erased pretty damn good. But there's a few guys out there who knows about this fight. You don't see a lot of people talk about it because a lot of people do think Sergio Martinez was on that stuff when he beat Floyd. So a lot of people don't bring this fight up. But just like with Ryan, Austrian or not, PEDs or not, this shot would have put Floyd out.
See this? You see this? I did all the research on this dude. And you won't believe his name. You won't believe his name. You won't when I be calling these black dudes ops, you won't believe his name. So Ryan got caught with Austrian, and this nigga is talking about Austrian or not. But when I say check the fruit on the tree, check the fruit on the tree. Y'all don't even know what the fuck that is. Watch this, y'all. He's telling you all of this, and he'll have you for a second. Austrian or not, Ryan Garcia won. He didn't say nothing about no racism. But he's on here telling you that Sergio Martinez beat Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah, needed. This was a loss, a knockout loss in Floyd Mayweather's career that we all like to pass over. But you guys let me know, should Floyd have got a loss or should this have been a no contest fight?
Look at his name. Jerry Jig.
Oh my God.
Look, man, I know we all look alike. I know we all look alike. But goddamn. I said, this nigga ain't real. I found him on TikTok. I said, holy shit. And he got a YouTube channel. Talking boxing. Now, based off of what I just showed you, is that where you gonna get your news from? Look, I didn't make this video, he did.
Dude.
What the fuck? Listen,
Dude.
I don't want to hear anything he has to say about look, I could not like Tank all I want, but I don't want to listen to him tell me anything about Tank. Look at what he did. And his video was up. I was like, I can't believe this. Yeah, I can. Bro, that's a real video. That's the real video. And his name, and I said, who is this dude? I couldn't believe what Jason Jig? I'm not kidding. If you're on TikTok, I'm sorry, Jerry Jig. I just added the Abu after that. Oh. Bruh, I didn't do this. He had ample time to take this video down or whatever, but I saw it a while ago. And then I saw it again. I said, this nigga, so I went and found him on, he might flip it and say, I was just goofing around. No, you wasn't, nigga. You was dead serious. You was dead serious. I didn't make that up. That's a real video. That's a real person. Jerry Jig. And I said, his name ain't Jig. It can't be Jig. He's trolling me in life. There it is. And y'all get mad at me. This nigga's on YouTube. I saw it. I said, oh no. Yo, look. All the ops could go to him. Yo, Drew Titan talk to you. Bro, pull up, bro. I got questions. Pull up. And my first question is, what the fuck, bro? What is this?
And
Did you think boxing is something you can make some money off real quick just talking?
Let me say this. That taco hat dude is no different.
No different.
No different. And they done put him on the air on the zone, giving him a show and everything. this is like ridiculous. Why isn't a person like Scrapbook, or why wasn't Kurt, offered an opportunity like that? You know what I mean? Those are real men who could really give you something back for the sport. This guy, I see him sitting up talking to these fighters, and Drew, I don't know if you watch him and some, because I don't watch his DAZN show, but I've seen clips and everything of when he's interviewing a lot of these fighters and everything. Have you ever noticed how touchy-feely he is with the fighters?
Dude, that dude is all right.
He always gotta touch these men. Have you noticed that shit?
Yes, I've seen him twice in person. What do you think I said when I looked at him like, hey, bro, he got that shit in him. I 100% believe he's a faggot. 100%. I'm not saying that because I don't like the nigga. I'm saying it because
he's
I think it's
always
true.
touching these men. I'm like,
I believe it. I believe 100% that he's like that. Because this shit don't make no sense. I'm trying to find this other video to put up. So, that nigga said Floyd pulled a Haney.
Covered it up.
This motherfucker said Floyd pulled a Haney. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Pulled a Haney and had all the video removed.
Had the video removed? I was like, what is he talking about?
When has Devin had videos removed?
Bro. He said,
can't make that shit up, bro.
Floyd pulled a Haney. I was like, oh my God, bro. But you know what? It's in the name.
It is.
Jerry Jig. Oh, yeah. I got you. All right, buddy. Okay, buddy. Where's my other video of T-Ho? I know I got it. It's up here somewhere. But y'all know the video. Y'all know the video.
How did you run across that crap, man?
You know what? It came across my timeline on Instagram.
Oh.
And, sometimes I watch something. Most times I don't give a damn what anyone says. But something told me, just watch this video. And I said, is this guy serious? I'm looking for him to be like, yo, I was just fucking around. Or, no. He was dead serious. I was like, wait a minute. What is he doing? Now, is it on his YouTube channel? I don't know. I haven't seen it. But that was damn sure on his TikTok. And I couldn't believe it. Bro, I couldn't believe it. I was like, this is, you understand? You guys understand. This is why I don't argue with people. I don't. But y'all know the video I did with Tiafimo purposely with the help of the WBO and the WBC purposely when he said, if I beat Kambosos, you know what I was going to do with it? I was going to dump the belt to make it harder for Haney. That was very specific. And I can't believe, but I can believe that you clowns would co-sign that behavior by not saying anything. And when you're dealing with Zuffa, you're not going to deal with any of that.
Nope. Dana White has made it perfectly clear that he ain't going for a lot of the BS that we've seen in regular boxing. All you got to do is be intelligent enough to read between the lines. He has said that, but there's certain things you got to use tact, and not say verbatim over the air. But he's let that be known that stuff is not going to be acceptable.
Yep.
Or guys who initiate that type of behavior. And look at the signings of the guys that he has so far, the named fighters. These are fighters who, whether their career is coming to a close like Usyk, or whether it's a guy that's in the midst of a prime like Opetaya, or a guy that's really coming on like Bam Rodriguez, These are guys who relish challenge. They want the best. It's like, why is everyone in an uproar about Usyk wanting to fight Wilder? Wilder is a contemporary of his from his era, and it would only make sense that he finally faced Wilder because Wilder is one of the last of those guys from his era. But nobody pitched such a fit when Tyson Fury defended his WBC title against Derek Chisora, who got 2,500 losses, and that he had defeated 2 times over decisively, and he reached over any contender into a garbage barrel and picked Derek Chisora, right? So it was okay that he did that. Now, Derek Chisora has been washed. For people who want to challenge that, just look at his resume. Okay? So now he's getting ready to fight Wilder. Now, you think Wilder's washed? I think Derek Chisora is washed. So get ready to clean soap suds off of your TV if everybody's washed. But I know one thing, that Wilder being successful in a fight against Chisora will probably go ahead on into his fight with Usyk. And if it's going to be a Zuffa match, that's great too. Because guess what? They won't have to deal with the sanctioning bodies who are looking to strip Usyk of a title anyway because they want to give that young kid, Moses Atuma, a belt. Y'all can't see the play? I'm telling you. Because the moment that Usyk and Wilder sign, the WBC is going to snatch that belt from him. You watch, mark my words, that they're doing. But if Usyk is already over here on Zuffa, hey, he can give up all of the belts because there will be a Zuffa championship belt as well, as Dana White has already indicated. And that belt is going to have more value because those fighters are fighting the best opposition.
That's right. That's right. And if your favorite fighter,
magazine will go right along with it.
That's right. And if your favorite fighter's over there babysitting a WBC, a WBO, a NABO, a IBF, or an interim this, or a gold or a silver champion, all of his contemporaries are going to be over at Zuffa. Salute to the Aquarian soul in that super chat. Much love. He says, Taco Head, take booty like you stole it. Man, that dude's a fairy.
Always touching on those men every time they sit down with him. If they sitting across from him, he touching them on their leg.
Hey, Tio, I really said that.
He's putting his hand on their shoulder. Hey, why
Tio,
you always touching on men, bro?
I really think you was undisputed, in my opinion. I press 1 if you stole it. I really think, man, get the fuck out of here. Plus he a midget. Get another one of those. Get out of here. Yeah, this damn prick. Man. So I'm all for it. I don't want to hear nothing about y'all. Hey, watch this. Let me just play with the idea. He might be I didn't watch Blue's video, but if he's making a play for Errol and Errol gets back in the ring, let me give y'all something to toy around with. What if that's the only fight Bud will come back for? I think Bud is done. But what if in his mind, like, you know what? That Errol Spence shit is really bothering me. Fuck Canelo. I smoked him. I smoked Errol too. But there's something about this Errol thing. Fuck it. Come on back.
Nah,
fight
man,
me at 60 or whatever.
Don't plant no seeds, Drew. Let Bud be where he is. He done had a retirement party and everything. Let Bud go. Let him go. I was asked a few days ago, someone asked me, Stormy, what would you like to see Bud do in boxing? I said, absolutely nothing. I said, but what I would like to see is that he take up the mantle of showing young fighters, fighters that are doing something outside of their careers, how to manage their funds, how to get invested, how to look to extend their earnings and things of that nature. Nothing to do with boxing whatsoever. Just like someone put him on to that game and put him in a great place to do great things of a what they call it. I can't think of the word right now, but being a real estate mogul and things like that, what he's done, that's pretty cool. And that's not the type of education that you'll get for free. There are people who can put you on to things like that. So if he wanted to do something with fighters outside of boxing, that would be a wonderful thing, because he's very successful in that. Bud owns real estate outside the United States, various parts of the world. The man has gotten very well invested. He don't need boxing. Boxing need him to come back because they haven't finished him off, huh? And I don't want to see them finish him off. I want him to be just like Lennox Lewis. When Lennox Lewis walked away from the Klitschko victory,
it was over.
That was it for him. When Marvin Hagler walked away from the Ray Leonard situation, that was it from him. When Rocky Marciano walked away from his career, his last fight, he still had a few fights left in him. He admitted that on national television. He said, I am quitting a little sooner than I need to, but this is my choice. I love that. I love when you write your own ticket, because at the end of the day, that's the most thing to be respected by someone who has accomplished. And all three of those men that I just mentioned were able to walk away on their terms, not look back, and still maintain the integrity and dignity that they came into the sport with. That's what I want for him.
I'm sorry, I was looking for something.
But those who want him to come back, they don't want him to come back because he was a great fighter. They want him to come back and fail. They want him to come back and be defeated. They want him to come back and for something bad to happen in his interest. That's what they want. They never celebrate you, bro. They never celebrate you. But in order to measure someone's greatness, who do they always pair them up against?
And by the way, I found the video that I was looking for. To remind y'all, this is what boxing supports. Guys like this.
To your female, let me ask you a question. What exactly happened with you and Devin Haney when that was brought to your attention?
It don't matter because we got Shakur Stevenson next, man. Honestly, I'm just excited because now all the roads lead to a bigger fight between me and Haney. Can you say, yep?
A bigger fight towards Haney?
Wait, makes sense now, right? Yeah.
Does it?
Has momentum, right?
Does it?
Got motion, right?
I'm asking you, does it?
But you gotta answer my question.
No, I'm asking you though.
I know.
At that point, security started to surround me, by the way.
And then I asked you.
No, but I asked you first.
And then I said it makes motion.
Motion? So this is a part of your major plot. This is a part of your plot. Put off Devin, fight Shakur, and spin the block and go back to Devin.
Got motion, right?
When I tell you Devin was not even in his mind, because in 2018, he said that. But listen, keep listening.
All right, thank you, guys.
Got motion.
Yeah, thank you, guys. Bullshit. So I go over to talk to Eddie, and then they start talking to him again. And I came back.
Everybody good?
So I asked him about Bud. He was asked about Bud when they stripped Bud. And who stripped him, by the way? WBC, right? Okay.
Regardless of whether Mauricio did it once or not, he did not pay for the sanctioning belt. So by default, he got stripped, so it became unified. If they could do it with me with my super WBC belt.
The super is not, it's the franchise belt. Stop trying to rename that shit.
Then why not? And I paid for that sanctioning belt.
So by default, was you undisputed at 35?
Ain't no thank you, motherfucker. What do you? Yo, I was about to get him, and security came again and shut shit down. Press 1 if you stole it. What does it say right there? But this dumb nigga, this knuckle dragon with lunch on his head, will tell you that he was really the undisputed champion. Bullshit. You see it right there. That's ESPN, right? Not that ESPN ain't wrong. I mean, they ain't always right. But we all know who the real champion was. But go ahead. Wait a minute. He got in the ring and lost to Kambosos. And it led to this.
We just get a Haiti Kambosos. Who you think wins that fight, brother?
Oh, fuck. No, it's a made fight for Haney. Yeah.
In what way? What do you mean?
Huh?
What do you mean?
Oh, the whole shit was a scheme, bro. They had the zone. I was on the zone platform. They gave it to Kambosos because they knew what I was going to do with it. They knew what I was going to do. I was going to drop him. Then it's a longer process for Devin to become, quote-unquote, undisputed.
You heard that? You heard that? Now, if there's one face, one name, one belt, and Tio's the champ and Devin is the mandatory, the only way you're not fighting Devin is if you relinquish the belts and get the fuck out the way. And that's a duck. There's nowhere to go. But this motherfucker was playing politics with the WBO and the WBC, and they supported that bullshit. They created another goddamn status for him to come up off that belt. All of a sudden, the franchise status that wasn't transferable, as soon as he fought Loma for it, it became transferable. But you can't have both. Loma vacated the real belt, which is how Devin got it, and then goes to fight Teofimo Lopez. And all of a sudden, when Lopez wins, it's transferable. And then he started running around saying, hey, I'm undisputed. No, Devin's the real champion. Devin is the real champion. So y'all called Devin the email champion. All of you niggas did that. Y'all called him an email champion while this motherfucker was doing this the whole time. This was the news. And 2 years prior to that, in 2018, he revealed that all the two sanctioning bodies was rocking with him, and Devin wasn't going to get a shot. And y'all ride with this. Not only this racist, but all of the politics and bullshit. Because you don't like Devin. You don't care what Devin gets, what he doesn't get. That's right. But when I get on here and say car fire, y'all lost y'all mind. Shout out to Zuffa. Y'all deserve this.
It's all a game, man. They pay that shit.
Isn't it gonna be tough to win in Australia though? Like if it's a setup, isn't it? When they set it up in America, not Australia, where why?
Everything's already made. It's everything. I had to see that for myself. So they already knew who won before they even fucking announced it. See the tapes.
Hey Tio, what advice would you give Dev though on what he's got to do in the ring with Kambosos?
Fuck Buffalo.
So a loser, right? But not to be outdone. Not to be outdone. Here's my other video here. Let me play this for you.
Deny Shakur and Zay Quinn getting into the event.
I'm still trying to make it, man. Fuck that shit, right?
Good job, baby. Inteligente.
Derek, can you talk to us just about the fight, what you think? What you think about the fight, the outcome, Ryan's performance?
If you motherfuckers think for 2 seconds that I'm attached to this fight coming up between Teofimo Lopez and Shakur, you are mistaken. I already know who Teofimo is, and do not forget who this motherfucker is. Boricua, right? Because the black dollar's not good enough. What the fuck were they sitting up there rooting for Ryan for? For what? What was that? What was that? You remember Devin was the co-main event? Were they up there? Yo, Devin, yo, move, yo, knock him out, Devin. Were they doing that? No. Be safe, Ryan. You got the coon, a mental case, and a snake. Now, I ain't want to say much about how the Lord works. Y'all been paying attention since all through 2025? Y'all been paying attention to things? Do y'all understand the sanctioning bodies are almost done? Y'all understand all of this shit y'all was talking about, the PBC, that shit over? Oscar's now hanging on by a thread talking about me and Al Heyman merging to do what? You can't compete. Do y'all know Top Rank is about to air a whole event on Tubi? And when Blue Blood tried to tell you, yo, there's something wrong, they couldn't bag Houston for Tank Davis. I don't think they got their finances in order, and y'all got mad, and where we at now? By the way, it's Sunday. Did they catch up to Tank yet? It's a lot of shit going on. This cheating ass motherfucker, Superdel Matias, just got beat up. It's like things are righting themselves, aren't they? Right? Isn't that happening? Y'all paying attention? Or y'all just lollygagging through life? Stop me when I'm lying. I'm just pointing out what happened. Did I lie about anything I just said just now? Y'all cool with Shakur rooting for Ryan? Y'all cool with that? Okay. I'm just watching. Now boxing has no fucking network. You idiots. This is your fault. You know what y'all were? Y'all were the school kids that had a part-time job. You and your friends had part-time jobs working at a fast food joint. And then in 2 years' time, all of a sudden they say, yo, look, man, we out of business. We got to close up the doors. Why you got to close up the doors? Meanwhile, every time y'all dumb niggas worked the registers, y'all was stealing. Y'all stole the money. Y'all closed the doors. Y'all are the WNBA. We haven't generated any money, but pay us. Get back in the kitchen. That's what I'm going to say. Get back in the kitchen. Because what you're saying don't make any sense. So since you want to act like a dumb woman, I'm going to tell you, get back in the kitchen. Take off your goddamn shoes, become barefoot, get pregnant, and wash some fucking dishes while you're cooking. Get back in the kitchen. You sound stupid. If you want to have a real discussion, then say that. Come up with some ideas on how you could generate revenue in the WNBA. Because apparently, we got next. Y'all had next for 2 decades, and y'all haven't generated a dime. Is that what this is? Man, get back in the kitchen. Shut up. Because everything is men's fault, right? I know I've gone off on a bit of a tangent, but it's all relevant. I don't care if T.O. wins. I want Shakur to win because I hate T.O. that much more, but don't forget who Shakur is. In all of these things, no one's promoting this damn thing. We don't have to kiss the ring to Turkey Al Sheikh. How you feel? How you feel? You was kissing Bob Arum's ass, kissing Al Heyman's ass. We probably doing something else. You kissing the WBC's ass. Now it's over. Don't you dare talk to me about no Muhammad Ali act. I don't want to hear it. One thing I say about the UFC is, if you're a champion, you fight your mandatory. That's it. And that's what we're about to get with Zuffa. I don't want to hear y'all cry anymore. Shut up. Shut up. Where the fuck is mine? Where's my shut up at? Right here. Just shut up. Shut up! Stop talking. Yeah, Village Brother, Tubi. That's what I heard. I thought it was YouTube. But even if it's on YouTube, that's where motherfuckers got to go to watch it. Man. I love it. Don't blame me. I'm right. You're wrong. Well, I ain't going to kill y'all. It is what it is. I proved my point. Stormy, let them know they can find you, good brother.
I can be found on Rumble, and I can be found right here on YouTube. There are 3 channels: Stormy B Man, Stormy B Man's Temple of Culture and Entertainment, and Stormy B Man's Kung Fu Temple. Yeah. So we got 3 joints working there. And that's Stormy B Man in all caps, but no cap. Yeah.
And I think I figured out a way where I can air my lives on YouTube and then cut it off on YouTube and continue it on Rumble so I can really say what I have to say.
Oh.
I'm gonna talk to you about that when I stop the live. I think I figured it out. But if not, look for me to start, if I really need to get down without YouTube being ridiculous, I'll start doing like maybe an hour live, and I'll do the next hour or maybe 30 minutes live on YouTube and then go over to Rumble. So y'all follow me on Rumble. Y'all follow us on Rumble and the Patreon because YouTube.
I actually just had an idea how that might work. So we'll talk about it and see if what I'm thinking is the way.
I think I know how to do it. I know how to do it.
Yeah.
But salute to everybody in the Venmo, the Zelda, Cash App, the Super Chat. We're gonna be back tomorrow. Nerds on Culture. I'll be back talking this boxing debacle live. But shout out to Zuffa. And if you're not on that type of time, you're protecting your cowardly fighter. Belts collect dust, but meanwhile, this nigga. Like I said before, I beat more world champions than everybody. Are you reading from a cue card, Floyd? No, I can barely read. Boy, if you don't sit your dumb ass down. Bronx on deck.
Move! Why are you gay?
Who says I'm gay?
You are gay.